Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for June 19th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
So what do you got?
Well, I'm going to lead off with a book that everyone's been waiting for a while. There's been lots of talk and rumors about what's going to happen. I'm looking at Age of Ultron Book 10 by Marvel Comics. I did have a chance to read it already this morning, and I enjoyed it. I feel like it's Marvel's Crisis. They're trying to do some things and shaking up their... There's a lot of time travel. There's a lot of alternate stories. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that. It looks like they're trying to get to a point where all of their characters have sort of a one understanding. And I can't really say anything without giving anything away, but we obviously know there's a big reveal at the end. It doesn't go down quite the way I thought it was going to, but we know who's coming. That's been long rumored. There's a variant cover featuring this person. I'll pretend like I'm not going to spoil it for you by not saying it out loud, but I don't know. Read the USA Today or the Entertainment Weekly. It's been all over it.
We assume at this point, if you're watching this, you are familiar with the internet.
Yes, we'd hope. This is weird.
Yeah.
So it's a good book. I really like it. It's so much like so many of the other Marvel events where, and I guess I have to adjust to the fact that this is how an event goes. It's not like the old days where you get the story and you get to read the story. This is what we're doing next. And that's kind of what it is. It's setting the stage so they can do what they need to do for everything else. So I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm looking to see what issue 5 of Guardians of the Galaxy when they drop this new character in there. Because all right, I'll leave it there. She's going to be doing some things. There's also rumors that the red-headed woman from Doctor Who is going to be playing her in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I've heard that.
It only appeared in a newspaper in Australia. I mean, who listens to the Australians? But that's the rumor out there.
There's a lot of rumors out there, though.
Again, I'm sure you're familiar with the internet.
Yes.
Then I've got Mind the Gap number 11 by Image Comics. I really like this book. It's a strange mystery, and it only seems it's about to get stranger. The previous issue, or maybe it was the issue right before that, sort of revealed some involvement with Elle's mom. And something had been going on where they'd been experimenting on her long before they pushed her in front of a subway train. Or who, had this sort of thing happen. And maybe she wasn't pushed in front of the train on purpose, but something is going on here. There have been experiments with sort of her ability to jump kind of consciousness and things of that nature. It's cool. I'm not really sure where it's going, but it seems like it just took a swerve on us and is going to take us somewhere else. I like this book. This is a solid Image book that I don't feel like enough people are really chattering about. Chattering about all the other Image books, but that's one that's kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Here's a book that is getting some chatter. Revival number 11 by Image Comics. This is written by Tim Seeley, art by Mike Norton. I believe they have an option for a TV show. Was it a TV show or was it a movie?
It was a TV show, but then I think ABC is just like they're kind of ripping it off the way they did Fables.
Gotcha. So they're just going to steal the idea. Well, I hope Tim got a payday.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Oh man, that stinks. So now they're just
they can't afford lawyers.
So they optioned it, and they're just going to steal their idea.
It's still out there. Someone else can still pick it up.
Okay, interesting. Great book. Really weird. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm an issue or two behind. But some cool stuff. There's more alien involvement now than where it started. But yeah, cool stuff. Then I've got Bloodshot by Valiant. This is issue number 12. This is one of those 8-bit covers. I really think these are neat. And then, as I mentioned before, they've even got a Harbinger Wars 8-bit phone app game that you can play.
Oh, wow.
Kind of fun. This stuff, I believe, is this still tying into the Harbinger Wars, or are we maybe getting past this? Well, it's all tying in because of the Rising Spirit stuff. And in Harbinger Wars number 3, they just introduced Hardcore, which they're going to introduce into this book and is eventually going to become Hardcore and Bloodshot, or Bloodshot and Hardcore.
Ooh, that's great.
Ooh, looks like some Rye stuff going on there. That very clearly looks like some other things. Maybe there were other Bloodshots, other things with the nanite. They're doing a good job of trying to include all of those neat little elements from the original Valiant universe, and I like that.
It seems like this has been a very good and successful way to reboot or restart a universe or a franchise. And, lots of people do this now. Some people call it like the ultimate Marvel Comics. It may have done that. Done it with Star Trek. They just did it with Superman. That's the new thing. But it's really tough to get all of those things that people responded to right. And it seems like they're actually doing that.
Well, in the way they do that now, the ultimatization they kind of seem to refer to these things are now is all it is sort of rebooting the universe with the knowledge of God. That is to say, well, I know all the things that you did over this many years, and I saw what you did there, and you took a left turn at Albuquerque over here, and I would get you back on track over here, and then keep everything together because you see where all the mistakes went wrong the first time.
Right.
Then you fix it, and then someone's going to fix it 30 years from now, seeing all the mistakes that you made. I mean, they already got to that point with Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they almost ran their course and had to then fix what they did after 10 years. Next, I'm looking at Harbinger 13. More of the same of that sort of stuff. They have certainly reinvented some of these characters. They've kept them the same at the root. I really like what they're doing here. This Harbinger is really one of my favorite of these Valiant titles that has come out of this reboot. Or relaunch, maybe I should say. Great stuff. Really, really cool. This is still a part of the Harbinger Wars, which is basically, and they're almost like going back to the 60s and looking kind of like how successful that last X-Men movie was. Mm-hmm. Going back and using the time of the 60s to sort of show what you were doing. You've got Project Rising Spirit and Harada are sort of in that time period. And it just works neat to see the innovation of how they're building Harbingers and getting these people together with, giving them their powers and unlocking them. It's cool. I really like it. Then I've got, this silly thing is still hanging in there. Morbius the Living Vampire #6. I believe we got past the last story arc, and there was a little reveal of someone pulling strings and trying to make Morbius do what they wanted him to do. Who's the artist on this? Valentin Delandro. This art looks a lot better than the stuff that preceded it. Really cool stuff. Is that John Byrne?
Looks a lot like him.
So John Byrne's in here, hanging out with Morbius. I don't understand. Little weird. John Byrne with a ponytail, but it totally looks like him. Artwork looks fantastic here. I like this book because I like the character. I think they're doing kind of some interesting things with him. It's, as I mentioned before, it's almost the same take they took on Venom in the 90s that I didn't like, where he was living underground with homeless people in San Francisco. Well, now Morbius is the hero of the downtrodden in some weird town in, Idaho? Or, I don't know, a town in Brownsville. Well, they're saying it's the outskirts of Manhattan in a town called Brownsville. But I thought he was in some other state as well. I don't know, weird stuff. But it's Morbius and I dig it. Then I've got the X-Files Season 10, issue #1. All these TV series are coming back now going, this is a new season. I mean, Buffy, look what you started.
Yeah.
Way to go, Buffy. Then they had to reboot, do the same thing with Jericho. They had to finish up the story that they were never able to tell in Jericho. Now we're getting the X-Files. So maybe I can pretend like this was actually Season 9. Maybe I can pretend like this was Season 8 and the other stuff didn't actually happen.
Can we pretend it's Season 4? Or Season 5? That's when it lost me.
I got lost right after the first movie.
Yeah, I think that was 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pretend this is Season 5.
Kind of the way that Bryan Singer ignored Superman 3 and 4 when he made Superman Returns, which then everybody ignored.
So they say this is supposed to be canon. The story here is by Joe Harris with Chris Carter, and Joe Harris is doing the writing. So they do have Chris Carter's blessing.
Okay, that's good.
And, hopefully... The thing where X-Files lost me and fell apart was when they already told you all the secrets and already fixed everything, only to then spend the next few seasons refixing everything. But I liked the conclusion they had already come to with the cigarette smoking man, and Mulder's sister having been cloned and used for the bees that were using the vaccine, and all of that stuff made sense to me. I don't know why cloning her to raise bees made sense to me, but it made more sense than the stuff they ended up doing later.
Was there some serial killer thing?
Well, there was something weird like that, but there was also a moment where she was grown up, and I liked that, where she was grown up and Mulder presumably met her in a diner on behalf of the cigarette smoking man. But then they said she died, and it was all weird, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was a serial killer. There was some stuff that got weird, but I really want to like this book. I loved the X-Files 100 years ago, and I want to like it again, so I'm going to give it a shot.
I hope that it's good.
And that takes me through the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at?
I'm going to start off here with Invincible.
Great cover.
This is one that, this is a great cover. Normally this is one that you talk about because I've been many, many issues behind, but I did get caught up recently.
Oh, all right on.
I did get caught up, so I could finally talk about this.
Welcome back.
So, I was quite surprised. A lot has gone on in my absence. Omni-Man is now the leader of the Viltrumites, and he's the heir to something, and so is Mark. And the world is not too happy about Mark because he kind of turned bad, and A lot of the heroes don't like him now. So this is a whole brand new book that I had not seen in a while. So yeah, Kirkman keeps you guessing. It looks like we got Angstrom Levy back, and I flipped to the last page, and it's...
And remember,
It's
the
a
Omni
weird
Man
last
was the
page.
bad guy at the end of the third trade paperback.
Oh, sure.
So they bring it full circle through 17 trades.
Yeah.
You know, 14 on top of that. And now Omni Man can be the hero again, and now we're going to have to deal with Mark having some problems.
Interesting stuff.
And I love Angstrom Levy. So Angstrom Levy's back. Great character.
We've got some big changes to the relationship between Mark and Eve. Not going to mention what they are, just because it was quite a reveal to me. So, yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm glad I got caught up. I was kind of in that, why am I still getting this book? I haven't read it in forever. And then I read it, got caught up, read a bunch of issues all at once, and it was like, okay, good, I'm back on board. Next up, we've got New Avengers number 7. This is Jonathan Hickman, Mike Deodato. This has got the fallout from Atlantis and Wakanda and the issues they had during Avengers versus X-Men when Namor basically tried to destroy Wakanda. And now they're on the same team. So that's not really going to work out too well.
Not really.
But yeah.
Namor does not play well with others.
No. I don't know why they keep putting him on teams. Eventually, the Atlanteans...
Just so that they can have the dick on the team to
True.
shake things up.
And he does. He does a good job of that. And yeah, so these allies by necessity now are going to have to deal with the fact that, hey, you tried to kill me and all of my people. And of course, Atlantis can say, well, you tried to kill me and all my people. So
right.
There's some moral ambiguity here, but it also looks like we have Doctor Doom in here, and Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange eating dinner. Interesting. So we got Doom and Strange eating.
That's Hickman. That's not even Bendis. That's a very Bendis maneuver.
Yeah, strange, but good stuff. This is still a great book. Next up, Uncanny Avengers. Looks like we got Rogue and Scarlet Witch fighting it out. I don't know. It's this is again the Avengers. The 3 different Avengers books. I get a little confused as to which one is in which. Okay, this is the one with the Apocalypse twins, and that's the particular
This is the Remender book, right?
This is the Remender book. It's got the Apocalypse twins, which were from his X-Force run, I think.
Okay.
Kang, some time travel stuff, Immortus. Yeah, I really like that stuff too. They had the weird thing where the Red Skull has Xavier's brain. But yeah, this is the mutant and Avenger team all together in one. I'm not sure what the particular storyline is here because I think we had wrapped some stuff up. But I know that they're working towards some big apocalypse. It's just a different apocalypse that's in the other Avengers books. Next up, Ultimate Spider-Man number 24. This is the introduction of Ultimate Cloak and Dagger.
Awesome.
Took a long time. I'm kind of surprised. In previous issues, Miles, because you can't be a Spider-Man without having a loved one die, probably several. Get used to it, Miles. His mom died. And he quit being Spider-Man. He gave it up.
That's why he walked away. The old trash can image, yep.
Classic Spider-Man, no more. Other people are trying to get him to be Spider-Man again, and he doesn't want to do it. Okay. So I'm sure this is the storyline where he realizes, yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to do it or some people are going to die. Because
with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm. So he's learning that slowly.
I'm looking at you, Superman.
On that topic, we have the Superior Spider-Man with lots of great power but no responsibility because it's Doc Ock and he's a jerk. And
aren't they saying all of the power, none of the responsibility is the tagline?
Yeah, that was the tagline for a while. So yeah, now what's kind of interesting is seeing Doc Ock going up against his former allies. So yeah, the Spider Slayer.
I hate that he's become a total jerk and now Jonah's into it.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of ticks me off.
That fits, though. Well, of course, Jonah's going to like Spider-Man when he's a villain. Jonah thinks that the villain Spider-Man is a hero because he thinks the hero Spider-Man is a villain. Even though I think it's kind of gone on a little long, I do kind of just like this weird inversion. Hopefully there's an end game or a payoff. I know he's getting a costume that looks much more like Doc Ock's, and eventually everybody will realize he's Doc Ock. How Peter will come back, I don't know. Probably make a deal with Mephisto. That's my bet. Next up, Green Lantern New Guardians. This is the beginning of the new take for this book. It's got White Lantern Kyle and the Templar Guardians kind of going off and doing something. Not quite sure what they're going to be doing yet. This is by Justin Jordan, who wrote Luther Strode. So there should be some interesting stuff in this book, I think.
It's a book we've said lots of good things about.
This was supposed to ship with a ring, although the ring was delayed. That'll be in next week, I guess. I don't know. They did the same thing.
Apparently getting those cheap plastic rings from China is taking longer for them because everything's been on a week delay.
But I'm looking forward to this just to see what they're doing with Kyle. Kyle was always one of my favorite Lanterns. I'm glad that they made him a White Lantern because at least now he's unique. But I just don't know if that's going to be interesting in the long run. So we'll see. I've got a lot of faith. I didn't read Luther Strode myself, but a lot of people did. A lot of people liked it.
I liked
its kind of science fiction vibe too. And so I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this. I always thought Kyle has been underused since Hal Jordan came back. Let's see if this can reverse that. That's my stack.
All right, well, that brings me to the top of my stack here, which this book seems to be pertinent with what's coming out at the movie theater this week.
True.
We've got World War Z coming out at the movie theater this week, written by the new king of zombie fiction, I guess. I mean, he's the guy that everybody looks to the way we used to look to George Romero. Yeah. Max seems to be distancing himself, though. He keeps saying, well, they bought the name. Well, they bought the idea of the book.
Yeah.
And so now he has something, and you can't tell me that this is just coincidental, the timing of this book. We're looking at Extinction Parade, published by Avatar Comics. This is a new #1, and I believe this is zombies versus vampires.
Ooh, interesting.
Which, seems a little silly, zombies and vampires, but all right, I'm down. Because technically zombies shouldn't really have any blood.
Mm-mm.
So how's that going to work? I don't know. I guess they'd have to coexist. I don't know. I mean, but can a vampire be turned into a zombie?
I was wondering that.
I don't know. I guess Max Brooks is going to tell us.
Yeah, if a zombie bites a vampire or vice versa, what happens?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I don't really know exactly what's going on here, but it should be kind of different.
Would that be a zompire?
Perhaps. Or a vampy? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out. Max Brooks, very talented writer, does some great zombie stuff.
Cool.
Check that out.
My top pick would have been New Guardians if the rings were here, because I'm a sucker for plastic rings. That's all it takes. Just letting you know. I bought that Legion book. I don't even like the Legion.
Just to get the ring. Just get the Legion ring.
I got the
Flash. You didn't like
ring.
the Legion. You wanted the Legion ring.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I like rings.
He's Liberace of superheroes over here.
But my top pick is Avengers #14. Again, another Hickman. 3 Avengers in 1 week. That's a lot of avenging going on. The reason that this is my top pick is very simple. Across the very top, it says Prelude to Infinity. So this is kind of where we're starting to build towards the next big event because the last one just ended.
Yep.
So we can't waste any time and get into the new big event. But I'm really looking forward to Infinity.
As am I.
Thanos has always been one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite villains. Jonathan Hickman is one of my favorite writers.
Yep.
So putting the two of them together
seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, and Jim Chung doing the artwork. So yeah, this one is Hickman and Nick Spencer, who's been co-writing the book with Stefano Caselli and one of the Martins, Frank Martin, colors. There's 2 Martins, Laura Martin and Frank Martin, colorists.
Okay.
I wonder if they're related. But anyway, whatever this is, I don't know what it is. It's going to get us closer to Infinity and all the stuff that Hickman's been building. There's some weird images here. Hickman's great with that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Infinity, and this is where it begins.
To Infinity and beyond.
Yes.
Now, briefly, we actually got late recording because we were rehashing our opinions about Superman. The only thing I will say is what I love about this new Superman, my favorite part about this Superman is that it made Superman relevant. Superman, everybody's talking about him. Everybody's upset about that one scene. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? People that have never read a Superman comic but know the movies or the cartoons or whatever, everyone is talking about who their Superman is. So when everyone says he's a boring character, he's weak, he's this, he's that. Well, you know what? In one maneuver, whether you liked this new movie or not, it made you realize how much you do like Superman.
Yeah.
Whether you loved this version of Superman or an old Superman, people are talking.
Yeah.
That is my favorite part of this Superman. There were some things that bugged me.
Oh, yeah.
But now I've kind of come around to it, and I'm really, really excited about the fact that he is relevant again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked the movie. Also had some problems with it. I also had some problems with some of the things that people have problems with talking about online.
Oh, sure.
But I still like the movie, and yeah, this is I have not seen people this fired up. I mean, it's not just talking; it's arguing about Superman. It's almost yelling about Superman.
Yes,
and it's about claiming Superman. People saying, "No, this is Superman. No, this is Superman." Which I don't think people have done that.
No,
since I can remember.
And people that are saying the movie is bad aren't even arguing about the merits of the movie anymore. Yeah. They're arguing about the merits of their Superman. You know what? Success.
Yeah. Actually, the last time I can remember this level of discussion about Superman probably was when the Man of Steel miniseries rebooted him back in 1986, and it was the same argument. This isn't my Superman. This is a new Superman. This is a different take on Superman. Either way, both of those things have kind of reinvigorated the character like he hasn't been in years. So kudos to DC and to Snyder and Nolan for
I'll give no kudos to Snyder, but
for getting people to care.
Okay, they certainly did that. Yeah. They certainly did that. But I have a hard time giving kudos to Snyder in any way, shape, or form. But so yeah, get out to the theater, check it out. Whether you like it or not, it'll certainly stir some feelings.
Check it out and then go on Facebook and tell everybody what you think, just like all the other geeks.
Everybody else. So with that, that is your Week in Geek.